want to talk about a problem we all face now, which is over-tourism in Hong Kong. Have you ever been to Leung Ka on a weekend? You will feel you pack like sardines and you have to wait for 2 or 3 more extra trains just to get home. And that is a clear sign that our public services is under a serious stress. So here are some numbers. In 2025, Hong Kong welcomed around 15 million visitors to Hong Kong. And also, they don't spread out evenly. On the first day of the National Day Golden Week alone, we welcome over 261,000 visitors only on one day. So we can imagine how crowded the street be. And how will the resident feel? A study by Peace and Chain in 2016, they surveyed Hong Kong residents, and they found that many of them did not feel comfortable in the tourist attraction during the peak season. But however, those tourist attractions is actually also our main commercial area where we have to be. So it will make some inconvenience, like the coaches will blocking the streets and also constantly crowding. So if we don't act now, the situation will only be deteriorate. So now we can talk about 2 solutions to tackle on 2 main causes. So let me introduce 2 possible causes first. The first one is the loose travel visa policy, and also the second is limited knowledge of Hong Kong's attraction. Here are my first solution: a tourism tax scheme. Many countries have used this method before, like France, US, and also Japan. The idea is to turn the hidden cost of the tourism into real prices. Like we may charge the tourists a transportation tax and also maybe day trip visitor levy, so that we can use the money to fund a better crowd control system. But however, does it really work in Hong Kong? Here are 3 difficulties that I found. So the first one is it may hinder our economic development. So as we all know that the tourism industry is one of the 4 key industries in Hong Kong, it contributing 2.8% of the GDP per year. So if the higher tax will affect our Hong Kong's competitiveness. And also the second one, the tax collection is not practical actually. Imagine we have to tax the day tripper at the automatic immigration gates. We can imagine that the processing time will be slowed down significantly. So not to say there is also a rebound effect on environment. So that's why the tourism tax alone is not a perfect solution. And that brings me to my second solution and more preferable: developing a new tourist routes. Like we may instead of letting everyone crowd into Leung Ka, we can promote places like Cyclone, Geopark, or other heritage trails to spread the pressure of congestion hotspot. Like we may promote these places on social media and also set up some new direct transport system to let the tourists can arrive there more conveniently. That means the tourists can naturally spread out to other places. Here are research to show the effects. And also it got 2 main benefits. It can boost our economy also because the transport can bring tourists to spend their money on in some rural area, and also it may facilitate the local. As we all know that actually better transport for tourists to those places is also benefits those residents living in those areas. So to conclude, while a tourism tax sounds appealing, but it comes with some actual practical difficulties. And promoting new routes is a much more sustainable solution, which can bring some win-win situation. The tourists explore Hong Kong more, but the residents also receive less crowding. So I believe this is the way forward for Hong Kong. Thank you. Any questions? Yep.
Thank you, Lily, for your wonderful presentation on over-tourism in Hong Kong. You mentioned that tourism tax will lead to fewer tourists in Hong Kong, which catch my attention. As far as I know, countries like Japan and France saw no decline after such measures. So my question is, why are certain Hong Kong government different? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for aspect, but because due to the time constraint and also because this is not actually a academic source, so I didn't put it on. The example is from Matthias. It had established the tourism tax in 2023, and because of that, the tourist number in 2023 to 2024, the number of tourists decreased like 5%. This is from a news on a website called Hotel. So that's why I think it got potential risk in Hong Kong if we use that solution. And also like countries in Japan and France, they use that also the tax scheme is not want to reduce the number of tourists, it just want to turn the cost that some damage made by the tourists into the real cost, then that they can use the money to make up some other solution. Yeah, I think does that helps you? Thank you.
Thank you, Lily, for a wonderful presentation on tackling over tourism in Hong Kong. And you identified that no travel visa policy as a cause of over tourism. And I noticed that you proposed a solution focused on developing new routines rather than tightening visa policy. Could you please explain the reason behind this? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. I actually have thought about that as a solution, but that one is even more impractical than the tax scheme. So if we introduce the tighter visa policy, firstly, it is actually politically sensitive, and it will have to be a long process, like we have to discuss with the central government, and also it also got the same disadvantage as the tax scheme, so, because it will also make the tourist number decline. So that's why I didn't take it as one of the solutions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for question. Thank you for presentation, Lily. You have mentioned about adding new MTR stations to solve the overcrowding problems, but I think the Kwun Tong line is already packed with station that makes me feel very frustrated when I was taking this line because it's stopping every 3 km, so it makes the train move very slow. How do you make sure that this won't affect the efficiency of our travel?
Well, thank you for your question. First of all, I think that adding the station is not a problem because it may not in the same line or in Kwun Tong line, right? So we can actually set up some new line, just like the Twin Ma line as the newly set up. And also, my solution is not only setting up new station. For those MTR station, maybe just for some places really far away, like Saigon. But actually, we can also go other transportation like the shuttle buses, or even like we can have new bus route, not just MTR. So I think it may not likely to affect the daily life of the residents. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.